I think there's a tendency for all of us to want to reduce just about everything in our lives down to some sort of formula. If we just follow this formula, I think we tend to do it with prayer. If I pray this way, I get this. I think we tend to do it with sanctification. If I follow this plan, I get this. And I think we do it with parenting too sometimes. That if I follow this procedure or do this program, then I'll get this kind of child. And of course, the heart of the child is always the wild card. And we know that to be true as ministers, that unless our child's heart's changed, we're not going to get any result that's honoring to God. So I always tell parents, stay on the mat. You're in a wrestling match in a sense, and sometimes you're going to feel like your child is pinning you to the mat, and sometimes you're pinning your child to the mat. But you stay on the mat. You stay engaged. So all of my children have, caused me great disturbances. They've all just as they have failed and sinned and pursued things they shouldn't have pursued, and some with some consequences that were difficult for them to endure. Just watching them struggle with their own sin and failing and having difficulties was probably the hardest thing that I had to deal with in life, more than just anything that I'd encountered in ministry, because ministry has its trials and stuff, but this is your child. And me standing there as a parent wanting to help them, but also not being able to fix some of the things when they're little. You're controlling so much about their lives, what they eat, what they wear, where they go to school, et cetera, et cetera. But as they become adults, they make their own decisions, and to some extent you have to let them do that, but then you have to watch them fail and see the heartache of it and the frustration of it. And then there's a wrestling with yourself too, there's, what did you do? What did you not do that you could have done better? You have to figure out to what extent is my disappointment in my children more about me than it is about them. Is it they didn't become what I wanted them to be? They didn't do what I wanted them to do. They messed up my life. They created this trial, this turmoil, this heartache, they messed up the family picture. But I think loving them in the midst of that, you're still your children. They're children that God gave you, and you don't know what's going to happen in their lives yet. And you poured yourself into them, for all these many years. So you keep praying for them. You try to keep the doors open. You continue to talk to them. It's difficult for me in some ways right now because, a child that's going in a direction that they know you don't approve of maybe finds it hard to ask you questions about that. And I find it difficult to do that as well. My children are all extremely creative. They're all artists. Even my youngest son. They're all very smart. They're very challenging to be around and very engaging. So I love that about them, and they love our family. Even when they've had difficulties, or maybe they've veered off in some direction or not, they still really want our. I think if Peaches and I did anything, we did convey something about the importance of family, and they like that and they want that. And when something threatens that, they feel deprived. So my children are very encouraging in that way. They're all adults. So like the youngest is 36 and the oldest is 42. And there have been some challenges that have put some tensions on their relationships because of failures in our family. But they haven't given up on one another, and they're engaging one another. And this past Christmas, They stayed up one night till about, I don't know, 2 in the morning, just having a blast, looking at old pictures and stuff. But it was really satisfying to me and encouraging to me, even with the troubles that we're dealing with, that they enjoyed being together. They wanted to be together and they enjoyed spending the time together.
Hi, my name is David Wilson. I'm the director for Bent Tree. Why are we doing these videos? It's because we want to tell people stories. We think as they tell their stories, they bring you into their story. And we think that if you hear their stories, maybe you'll have the courage to tell yours, or that you'll ask other people about theirs. We think this is a worthwhile ministry for you to invest in. If you'll see at the end of these videos, there'll be a link for you to see if you could donate to us. We sure could use the help. Thank you.